Mandy, what's up?
Hey, you got a tough crowd there.
Yeah, we're having a good time.
I know. So I called in like a couple months ago. What I called in about like didn't end up working out, but it was totally fine. I am recently divorced to no fault of my own. I'm not going to get into that. I was kind of curious about the 40-year-old men about that haven't really ever really had a girlfriend or a long-term commitment. They're not like spinning plates, but they've had like dating experiences that have lasted for a couple months at a time, but nothing serious.
So he's 40 years old and he's had a bunch of short-term relationships, but nothing meaningful.
Yeah. I was just a little more curious into what like the man side of that.
Okay, so me myself, I've been in a couple long-term relationships. One was about 9 years. The second longest was about 4 years. But I'm also 36 years old. So since I entered the dating game at like 13 or some weird shit like that, um, I've been through a lot of short-term relationships myself. So, there could be multiple factors. Number one, the guy could just get bored very easily. So he may meet a woman, and in this process of meeting her, he may feel like he really likes her a lot, but it's really just like a conquest that's going on in his own head. And he's thinking, can I have this woman? So he meets the woman and he goes through this process of like, okay, first she's cute. Can I get her? That's where the conquest begins. And then maybe he starts working out. He starts dressing differently when he knows she's going to be around. He starts changing things up a little bit, wondering, can I pull this woman? And then he gets her attention. And then all of a sudden, there may be a short time period where there's some anxiety involved because when you start to catch feelings, you're like, does this person really like me or do they not? Or what's going on here? But once he knows for sure that he has her, he gets bored. And for whatever reason, the attraction goes away and he moves on to somebody else. Now, some people are just naturally born that way. In the manosphere, they call them alpha males. And an alpha male is not necessarily just the big, strong, hot guy that makes a lot of money. It's the guy that just runs around fucking girls and never having any attachment. Like, it's weird, but animals in the jungle do that. Certain ones do. Alpha male gorillas do that. And the beta males sit around and want to be husbands. Like, it's literally not just human beings. But other men are more like in between in their situation where they are alpha males, they're hot guys, they're in shape, they have options, they make a lot of money, and they do want a wife and children. And then other guys are on the other end of the spectrum where they're total beta males and they can't even get a woman to begin with. So whatever. But
And the,
I guess there's different layers. I don't know. It's a difficult question to answer because I don't know the man that you're speaking of.
no, that's fine. I was just curious. And then what if the it usually ends on like the woman's turn?
Well, what should the woman think?
No, what if like the relationship, the short-term relationship is usually always ended by the female?
Oh, um, I would say it's one of three things. Number one, he has some sort of a psychological disorder or something going on to where he seems normal to the outside world, but once you get to know him, he's totally fucked in his head and not in a good way, not like a sociopathic, psychopathic way that can still be attractive, like more of like a autistic kind of way. I don't know. I could see that being an issue.
Hmm.
Um, also, could be something in the lines of terrible in bed or micro penis or something of that nature. Who knows? Or Sheesh. Maybe it's an issue where he's like, could be like cleanliness or something like that. Maybe he takes a girl back to his place and his place is just a fucking dirty, absolute shithole mess. And women are like, holy crap, there's something wrong with this guy. They don't want to date him. But usually it's something about him that is highly there's something about him that a woman is like, okay, I couldn't spend the rest of my life with this guy. So I've got to end it now.
Yeah, the dating world, I haven't really been in the dating world. I have to say it's like really, I don't know. It's very weird. Um, I usually like when I was really in the dating world, I would get, dates and I would be able to go out a bunch of times with like those top like 5%, 1% of guys. And like I can totally tell those alpha males, you're talking about. You can totally distinguish those. Um, but yeah, dating's just new to me, so I guess I'm just kind of learning about it.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
Okay, so you're 35 and dating is new to you.
Yeah, I was married for, I was with my ex-husband for like 11 years.
Oh, okay. Do you have kids together?
No.
No?
No.
Do you want to have one?
Yeah.
So you're looking for that alpha to clap the cheeks and make some babies.
I guess if that's how you say it, sure.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, there are plenty. Here's the thing about your situation. There are plenty of 40-year-old men who aren't losers and who are alphas who want to settle down, get married, and have babies. The thing is, if a 40-year-old is truly an alpha, like imagine Leonardo DiCaprio is a good example. So imagine Leo's like 50 now. Imagine when he was 40.
He only dates 25-year-olds, though.
No. He cuts them off at 25. He only dates 19, 20-year-olds. And he'll
Yeah,
date
I
them
guess
for a
that's
few
what I
years.
meant.
Once they turn 25, they're out. And that's just, an unfortunate fact of a lot of dudes are into that stuff because they're biologically wired to want a woman that is hot and young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
So that's and again, we're what we call red pilled over here. So it's about accepting the truth and knowing what you're up against. So as a 35-year-old woman, there is a challenge there. You know what I mean? Because the guys that you consider to be attractive and dateable, well, there's also 21-year-old girls that think the same as you.
Yeah, and even if you look like, even if you're in really good shape and
yeah, the struggle is still going to be there. Like I'm just saying it's always going to be there. So what you have to do is look at the goals you have for yourself. Now, what goals do you have for yourself in terms of family and relationship over the next 5 years?
yeah, like I probably would want one kid. I have a house, but like I'm willing to move. Like I own my own home.
Okay.
I have a career, but like my career, I can relocate.
Yeah. So if you don't accomplish those goals, there's only going to be one thing that can stop that goal from taking place. And you know what that is?
I don't.
Your standards.
Oh yeah, that could
So
make
if
sense.
your standards are so high that you only want the guy that's up here, the hot alpha male that makes a lot of money and whatever, and you're unable to keep him. So before you know it, you're 30 years old and you didn't accomplish your goals. That's because your standards were too high. So if you want to accomplish those goals, I'm not saying, lower your standards to like an unrealistically low standard, but I'm saying if you want to accomplish those goals, you have to figure out what's realistic for you. and then that's difficult for a lot of people to do. But I
Yeah,
wouldn't
definitely.
worry about, like, when you're thinking about a guy that's 40, that's, been through all these short-term relationships, I wouldn't waste time thinking about him. I would quickly start thinking about what caliber of guy says that he's willing to commit in a long-term relationship with you, and
Mhm.
find the average of that as quick as possible and say, this guy is good, I'm picking him. That's the
Mhm.
best thing that you can do.
All right. I was just curious into more of the dating world. That's all.
Yeah. That's the best advice I think I could give you.
Thank you. Well,
Yes,
that's about
ma'am.
it.
Okay, Mandy, thank you for calling in.
Bye.
Salute to you, ma'am, and good luck to you.
Thank you. Oh, there's the lead button.